Hello everyone. Before we get into this today's episode of StarSector, I just wanted to make an important little announcement about a mistake I made back in episode 5.1. Specifically what you see here on the screen where I sold an Atlas or Astral class carrier blueprint on the black market. Now, I've played the game quite a few times and done this several times and never realized this was a mistake, but it turns out that if you sell blueprints on the black market, the pirates inevitably end up using those ships later on. It's not immediate, it's within 60 to 120 days, and they can only use it if their faction is sufficiently powerful enough. But if you let them get to that point, in this case would be selling the Astral Carrier, I will inevitably end up seeing pirates using that ship later on. Now, I thought this game worked similar to the way like Star Traders works, where the difficulty incrementally increases with enemy fleets responding to you becoming more powerful, but it seems like it's a little bit less like that. So in this case, just be aware when you sell these blueprints you might encounter them later on, but I believe if you sell them on the open market it's okay. Black market though is a different story. The pirates will inevitably use them later on. As for everything else, I'm not sure if they use equipment blueprints. I think it's just ship ones, but I will see how that goes. As for my Let's Play, well, we'll see how it impacts later on, I guess. Anyway, on to the episode. See you guys in a second. Good afternoon, internet friends. And this is episode 12 of my StarSector Let's Play for new players. I'm Seekaroma Gaming, your friendly neighborhood. Let's just say, not expert, but good at game StarSector player. And in this episode we're going to be continuing on from our previous adventures, where we were cleaning up the neighborhood, expanding our colony, making a bit of money in the process. I would like to start looking at how I could get into a little bit of smuggling in the home colonies maybe, but we'll see how things go. Now, give me just 1 second. One thing I was leaving off out of my videos is mentioning up how the level system works. So in the base game, you only can go up to level 50, and your officers can only go up to level 20. However, I have an extra mod, which is included in the list in the description, which allows you to level up to the theoretical maximum level. But you get all the skills in the game. What that mod does is it reduces the XP cost per level up after level 50 in such a way that it's still a lot more XP, but it's not as if it would take you 100 years in order to get those levels. So for my other plays I have my own, for example, I've got some characters at level 60 or 53 or whatever. So what I'm playing here is with that mod, but for you, if you're playing just purely vanilla, always make the assumption that you will run out at level 50 skill points. However, that mod in particular you can install after you have leveled up a little bit and you have got to level 50, so don't worry too much about it. You don't have to start a new game if you do want to keep leveling up. You could just install the mod and it will automatically give you the skill points that you might have missed at that point anyway. It won't let you automatically level above level 50 though. It's not like it's banking all those XP points after that point, but still. In this case, what I would recommend is always focusing more on, if you're playing purely vanilla that is, always focus on the fleet bonus skills. Things like command and control, officer management, fleet logistics, whereas things which affect your own ship, I would focus less on. Mainly just because of the fact that a whole fleet is better than one ship, unless your ship just happens to be some sort of god tier astral carrier, in which case go right ahead, but I prefer to focus more on the overall fleet buffs. Anyway, it's up to you, just warning you guys about the level limits. And whilst we were gone, our colonies progressed just a little bit. We now have some farming up and running, which means we now have some actual exports. And if we see here under credits a month, and we press F1, we can see that we are now making the bulk of the money of the colony just from food. So every unit of population that we get more up through colony size, we will get one more unit of production for almost every good here. Well, in this case we're just manufacturing these two, but if we were manufacturing others we would get one more. So we're making a little bit of money. We're focusing now on the patrol HQ and the way station. I would like to queue up a space station as well, just to protect the colony a little bit more. and in this case I'm going to focus on getting the midline structure. I do prefer high-tech for my fleets personally because I don't like them getting damaged and their weapons getting disabled, and low-tech space stations are quite powerful, but I think midline makes a good compromise. It has quite a good amount of firepower combined with a good amount of missiles and fighters and rockets. It's a good mix. You won't see it in action that much. It's not like you'll be fighting defensive combat near the station unless you are in an absolute war, but for now it's middle of the road, so we'll go for that. And also just remember that there is no better station. It's all just different ways of doing the station itself. So let's build midline, and now that's queued up. And hopefully by the time all these three are built, we will have got a little extra bit of growth. I believe we'll actually have got that quite a while, 16% a month, so 1 month, 2, 3 months. We'll probably get the growth into the next colony size just as the orbital station starts. And with growth, it's also important to note that this is 16% per month, but it calculates throughout the month. So it isn't just like it hits the end and then it just adds on 16%. It'll actually add on 1% every couple of days, another 1% every couple of days, and you'll see the total growth go up for that. And now I need to make a decision if I want to focus on getting maybe a bounty and some more positive reputation with the hegemony. There's a bounty right next door I could fly to and grab for an extra 100,000 credits, or I could continue my exploration south, maybe finding some good worlds or good treasure. I think for the moment I would like to build up my faction reputation, owing to the fact that it's just not that good at the moment. Hegemony is quite welcoming for me, but everybody else isn't very much. It's always nice to get just a bit more of the hegemony, just in case, because once you start using AI cores, you're going to burn that reputation down pretty quickly. Anyway, I'll head off to the bounty world over here at Delta Froze. You can also see it here on the intel screen. And I'll cut to there when I get there. And we've arrived here at Delta Froze, and now we should check the bounty description to see where this guy might be hiding. So, he says he's hiding under a barren world with a yellow primary star. So, fortunately I checked this already, that this is the only yellow star, so we're okay on the actual system, but he's hiding out near a barren world, so we need to check the sector map and then the system map and see which of these planets it could possibly be. So let's see. We've got a barren world here near the star and another one near the gas giant. So it's not going to specify more than just that is that planet. We just have to hopefully guess that it is which one. And in this case, fortunately, this one's near the jump point, so I think I would prefer to head maybe to the gas giant. I believe if we look here, we can see that there is a gravity well straight on the giant, and hopefully we'll find our little bounty there. And I think we can conclude that probably he is there, because as we're trying to jump in, it's saying, warning, there is a hostile threat here. It's probably him. Oh look, he's right here, right next to me. How glorious. Oh, come on, don't run away. I want to be friends, thank you. His fleet is not too bad. We took on quite a little bit more than this today, or last time, rather. So I think we'll be fine. Let's see how this goes. This one will deploy the bulk of our ships, because we're not exactly doing badly on supplies or money at the moment, and I want to ensure that I do not take any losses or minimize my losses. I won't bring in the Venture Cruiser though, because the ship is a bit too slow for my liking. At least with the Enforcer it's got enough guns to sort of make some long range difference, whereas the Venture sort of lags behind. And let's see how it goes. So we have a few command points. I'll order ships to go and try and take all of those. Now your ships will intelligently send more to each point if more enemies are spotted at that point. So for example, you'll see here, if they appear to go to one of these 2 points, more of our ships will start heading to that one as well. Now, you see, they all assign their orders now to Com Relay Alpha. And likewise, they will also allocate more ships to defend a control point if they believe it's being contested too much. Ooh, that's a nice spread of torpedoes. It's not really any contest. I want to say I was experimenting with some of the Luddic Path ships in one of my other playthroughs. If you ever get your hands on one of their modified super tankers, it is a very fun ship to have. It's kind of a bulky, expensive ship to have, but it has enough guns and armor that I have definitely come to like it a lot. Spin, 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 spin! He's getting faster and faster. Okay. What was going on there? Okay, I'll order a full assault. I think we've got all the points under control. Don't need to control them any longer as such. And if he escapes, it's not the worst thing. We can always pursue them after. Okay, we'll do a quick pursuit. Send the faster ships after it. And we got all of them, perfect. And what can we recover? Modified freighter, damaged destroyer. So this ship is pretty good at combat, I would say. And this one. I'm not a fan of the Colossus. It is a strong ship, but it's just a little bit too weak in my opinion. Maybe with some good fighter support it can be quite effective, but I don't know, I think that converted hangar bay just gives it so much weakness. It offsets all the gain from the armor, pretty much. As for the Enforcer, it's quite slow. I'm not sure I would like to have that in the fleet. Right, all this up. Now I'll take all of it, as long as we're not over limit, and then I'll take it back to the colony. A little bit more money. Very nice. Continue salvaging. I think after collecting that bounty, I'm gonna maybe head to one of the hegemony worlds, maybe one in Samara or Arcadia, and take a look to see if I can find, yeah, here like Sphinx. I want to go to a military station, see if I can acquire any potential military equipment they might have. Maybe a good starship. We'll take a look and see what we can find. We have a good reputation with them. They might not let us buy the advanced military ships, but we could always look at the surplus stuff. And actually, maybe we could even get enlisted with them. Okay, actually I'm not such a fan of that. We'll be fighting the Luddic Church, and I'm not in the mood to have that just yet. But let's have a bit more ships and a bit bigger colonies before we end up with direct enemy factions. Still, I'll head off to Samara at Sphinx, and we'll see what ships we can find to add to our fleet. And, whilst we got a level up, also let's get level 3 of safety procedures. This means that we can now do our emergency burn without losing supplies, and all our ships which have the negative damage modifier, the hull, for example, the ship with its 4 damage modifiers, all those modifiers will affect the ship half as much, whilst still keeping the full 20% reduction in supply for deployment. So you'll see here that the ship's actually now going up in top speed just a little bit more because the degraded engine's effect is only half of what it normally is. If we go to look at the refit, you can actually see the impact. So here, for example, glitch sensor array is usually like 15%, now it's only 7%. I would always recommend, especially in your early game, to try and get safety procedures. Or if you're just playing it purely like elite ship fit, it's not as necessary, but you're inevitably going to lose ships at some point, and they'll come back in your fleet with slight damage, such as my little wolf here, which has 5 damage mods. Oh jeez. And so now those damage mods will only affect the ship half as much. It's still going to affect it though, but anyway. As I got close to Sphinx, I got a little information given about a new mission for domain probe analysis. And it's not too far away from where our colony is. It's part of that same neighborhood that we intend to search it later on. So I think for 60,000 credits and the chance of maybe finding some extra treasure from what we can salvage anyway, I would like to head here. And I think I'll accept that. We can do a refit and head down there in about 120 days. I think we'll be fine. We've got more than enough supplies. And maybe we'll find something good on the Domain Era probe. Hey, maybe there might be some other stuff around there as well. Regrettably, Sphinx actually didn't have that much in terms of ships for us. We did have a couple of military ships, but even if we were commissioned, I'm not sure if we'd be able to buy them. They might be... It might give us a little bit extra rep if we do get commissioned, but then we have to deal with all the fallout of the other factions by doing so. And in terms of the smaller ships, I'm not really keen on having a monitor. It's a tough little ship, but it is... That's literally all it is. It's just a gigantic shield with engines strapped to it. As for the black market, maybe we could add the Sunder to our fleet. I quite like Sunders instead of, say, heavier ships that are a bit slower, and their forward large energy can be quite effective. But I want to see what the other system, the planets in the system have, and maybe we'll find something good. I'll head to Eventide. That's quite a large planet, so maybe it has something good for us. Whilst we were here, there's a gigantic pirate armada attacking the place. This could be a good opportunity to get some free treasure and get some hegemony rep whilst we're at it. Let's try that. Hegemony forces are actually outmatched, I'd say. Well, with that Dominator, maybe not so much, but let's give them a helping hand anyway. Oh, actually, yeah, let's just order the second in command to do it. Be a lot quicker. Do we get anything good from that? Let's see, we get another mule. I think we got enough. We don't need any more smuggling ships. I don't want a very badly damaged, very bad carrier. I'll take the supplies though, and the reputation. It's all good. And there's a lot of wreckage flying around as well. This planet must have been under attack quite a few different times. There's so much salvage here. We don't even need to buy any supplies, we can just pick everything up that we need. And this planet has definitely something that I would like. An untouched Griffin missile cruiser. This ship is a very big favorite of mine, mostly because of the fact it has so many missiles, and because of the fact that it can just keep making more missiles. So this is a ship that you always have behind your line, and it just keeps spewing out death at long range. meaning that in any long-range engagements or protracted fights or station sieges, this ship will just keep firing and firing and firing, and I love it so much. There's also a couple of other interesting ships, like the Atlas modified super freighter, which might be useful, but I'm not so certain about it because it doesn't have fighter bays, which is something that I kind of miss from such a large ship. The Venture, maybe, I could add as well. That surveying equipment would certainly cut down on exploration costs. And there's also, maybe I could get a slightly tougher, smaller ship, like the Centurion Heavy Frigate. This ship is quite tough. It's sort of the opposite of a Wolf. It's focused more a little bit on survivability. It's still got a fair bit of guns, and it's a little bit slower, but I do like this a lot. I think I'll get the Griffin and the Centurion. And then maybe we can toss out one of our damaged wolves in the process. Let's add the Griffin, the Centurion, and then I'm going to take my very badly damaged wolf here, and I'm going to just strip him, and then sell it. Bring the Griffin to the front of the line, and we'll bring this frigate closer up next to the experimental one. Next up, I might want to put a better crew member, officer rather, in this. Let's see. Who's got the best missile skills? You do. You have good carrier skills. I think I'll put in the... Oh, he's got a few levels up. Let's see if we can get him. Oh, it really wants him to be a commander, doesn't it? Okay. So he'll remain in a ship that has fighters. She'll be the fighters as well. So I got a choice between Kelly and Day Olympus. Let's see. I think I'll put probably Kelly Curry in charge. We need to find someone to replace this. I could move him across, actually. The ship is a lot less damaged. Okay, let's fit it. So, it actually has some good fits already. Expanded, fire support, and standard. They're both okay. They have sort of mostly the same builds, except that standard emphasizes more the fact it's going to get shot at, whereas fire support is more for long-range fighting. I prefer to maybe get fire support. Just see what it can go for. I'm actually going to get rid of reinforced bulkheads for this one, I think. We do have expanded missile racks and ECCM. Oh, it's built into the ship. Ah, okay. I see. I thought it wasn't installing it properly. So maybe actually we could go for something else then. Maybe another modification. Let's see, it's got a relatively good amount of armor, hull. Maybe some logistic mod, maybe. Let's see what high resolution sensors does. 150 sensor strength, not really that good. It's not a huge ship. Is it quite fast? Yeah, it's okay in speed. It's 8 burn speed. So let's see. We could give it a hangar bay. I mean, this ship is not designed to be on the front line that much anyway, so we could certainly do that actually. Let's see what we can put in. We've got a couple of fighters, mostly fighters. A squadron of claw fighters might be good. Ion cannons to disable systems. This ship is going to be hiding behind most of my ships anyway whilst it fires off all its missiles. I don't want it to get that close into combat. And if that doesn't work out, then I'll just swap this out with something else and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I'll give it a different name. Let's save that variant. Perfect. And actually, maybe we could swap it out for... No. He has a little bit of fighter bonuses, but he has no missile bonuses, so it doesn't matter. Okay, and lastly, Centurion. And let's see what this can give us. Oh, it's just got one build, blast doors. Just emphasizing the fact that it might blow up and lose crew. Okay. Railguns, anti-shielding, anti-armor, with a torpedo. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. It's not too many other mods we could really add on without compromising something of some kind. And I would like to keep at least reinforced bulkheads because of the fact that the ship has no officer, so if it blows up I wouldn't be very happy with that. Until we get officers in all of the more powerful ships, I will try and keep reinforced bulkheads, just until we can hopefully get Fleet Logistics level 1. That way we can always be guaranteed to recover the ship, just in case it gets destroyed somehow. And that will happen a lot. Speaking of which, I think I would like to get a bit of leadership going now at this point. I could have focused maybe a bit on recovery operations or for some extra money, industrial planning, but I think I'll get these colony skills maybe after a bit of the fleet skills, and I would definitely like to get fleet logistics. That extra, the bonuses to our ships being destroyed, accessibility for our colonies, larger fleets for our colonies, reduced maintenance cost, and maximum combat readiness. These are all good things. I would like to get all of them if possible. So we'll just get level 1 in leadership, and then hopefully we can work on fleet logistics next. And then after that, I think I'm going to probably get officer management up and get a couple more officers, because they will be the biggest improvement to our combat capabilities. And we've got quite a bit of junk in the cargo holds now, so I think I want to take this back to my colony world, offload all of it, and then I'll head off and do that domain probe exploration mission. And slowly but surely we are building up our arsenal. We are going to have lots of guns available to refit whatever we want later on. As long as we remember to come to our capital planet, we'll always have a nice amount of selection. We don't have to rely on other factions to give us good guns after a while. Okay, and now let's head off and get to that probe. Shouldn't be that far. Wow, the hegemony is really going to war with everybody today. Bloody Church, PAF, Persian League, Dictat, Pirates. There's only really one other faction that they could go to war with. Well, two if you include the Independents. I'm glad I didn't sign myself up for a commission with them, or else everybody would hate me. Ah man, I really hate flying through these clouds. It is so damaging to my supplies. Ugh. Okay, we made it to the nebula. So the first thing you'll notice with a nebula is there is no center point, really. Nebulas don't have a star which you can go to as the main rotational element. Instead you just see a bunch of planets and gravity wells floating around in space. So let's see. What does it say here? Is orbiting a jump point in the nebula. Well, that's very vague. How many jump points are there? So we got gravity well, jump point, gravity well, jump point. Okay, well, it could be either of these three. Let's try the outer jump point and see how this goes. Going in dark. Oh, well. Excellent choice. And let's run that sensor package. Collect the 60,000 credits. And now we can also just explore the probe, like in addition to getting the money for it as well. We've got a few defensive drones. That's not very threatening. They have no shields. They have a lot of damage mods. In fact, I'm surprised it doesn't even let me send my second in command on it. But still, let's see what we can do. Put a few frigates and a couple of ships against it. This should be absolute overkill anyway. Full assault. I'm curious to see how this ship performs. So with no shields, it's no contest. I like how the Centurion's fighting. Yeah, I think I should just put a couple of frigates in this. That's a waste of supplies, actually. Oh well. Did we get anything good? No AI cores, unfortunately. In terms of salvage, though, oh, a hyperwave ping. Oh, okay. So maybe we'll get somebody coming after us now. Let's salvage it. Get a gamma core, not too bad. And let's do a quick salvage before we just move away. Try and head to the cloud just to see if anybody comes knocking. Nothing's coming up just yet. Let's do a sensor ping. Okay. Well, let's continue exploring the nebula. Maybe we can find something useful. So this is the layout of the place. We've got a couple of locations. Gas giant, barren worlds, gas giant, frozen worlds. Yeah, nebulas won't have really good planets, especially habitable ones, because there's no star. They'll all tend to be quite cold or frozen. I think let's deploy some equipment that'll help us get around a little bit and explore a little bit, and then we can take a better look around. Okay, with the sensor array and nav buoy up in place, let's take a look. I think I'll make my way probably to these three first, then wrap around, build a comm array, wrap around here. And if nothing comes up, then, well, at least we looked. So does U2, I can only think of the band, does U2 have anything of value? Nope. Okay, and what about Balrog? Kind of far from the mines of Moria, but anything of value here? Nope. I'm hoping we'll find something. And our first colony is now grown, and it's finished the construction of the patrol HQ as well. So now we're going to make substantially more money. We're now exporting a little bit more food. We get more income from, like, quote-unquote taxation, which is just like the base income from population. And very soon the way station will be finished, followed by the orbital station. And actually we can also queue up now our second industry. So we have farming. I don't really want to build mining on this planet because it's not got all the mining resources, and it's a good hazard world, so I want to use this for heavy industry or light industry or fuel production, the more expensive upkeep ones, which you wouldn't want to build on a high hazard world. We could also do tech mining, but actually, was this extensive? We could do tech mining, get that out of the way for a bit, and then pull it off once it's done. Heavy industry is a good one to have. I think I'll build heavy industry, or I'll queue it up rather, because having the ability for you to build your own starships and increase the quality of your own ships is a dramatic improvement. And it also makes a heck of a lot of money from the export of all of those products. You see there, it makes heavy machinery, supplies, armaments, and ship hulls. Those all make quite a bit of money. And all you have to import is refined metals and transplutonics, which is, like, you could build a planet pretty quickly to do that yourself. There is also commerce, which could be useful if we wanted to just sell things onto the market straight away. But given how close the colony is to the core worlds anyway, I'm not so certain. Maybe we'll build that after, replace the tech mining structure maybe. Still, I think I'm going to queue up probably the heavy industry first. It'll be a while till any of this comes out, but at least it's good to get out the way. And up goes the comm relay. Ooh, a bounty. See nearby? Nope. Oh well. I have to say, this is quite a boring nebula. I'm normally finding lots more things inside of them. Even the planets aren't that good. What the heck? Come on, Morga. You got anything for me? Oh, well, you got 30 supply cost. And not really good resources. Volatiles or rare ore, but no organics. And it's quite a horrible place to live. Okay, and we've got left maybe something in the ore field here, and then the barren world. And after that I'll jump out and head back home. Well, one interesting bounty did pop up, one here nearby, with a very interesting little fleet setup. Battle cruisers, assault cruisers, some actually threatening ships. So maybe we could go and hunt that down and see how well ours stack up to that. Anything of value here? Comiac, and you're the last planet of value. Wow, for a barren world that's quite a lot of supply usage. Yeah, I think I'm not going to waste it on you. I kind of would like it for my ships, thanks. A little bit of a letdown with that nebula, but that's the nature of exploration. Sometimes you find good things, sometimes you don't. At least we have the reliable income of bounties, so we can head off to do that next. And pray that my fleet does not get obliterated in the process. I decided to stop off here at the Alpha Paratari system, just because it was on the way out, and my fuel situation was getting kind of dire, so I was hoping we might find something useful here. And already we've come across a Dominion probe, or domain probe rather, and there's something else over here, so maybe we'll pick up some fuel on the way out. Mr. Probe, you got anything for me? A couple of failed defenses, which we can throw just a couple of frigates at, I think. Should be fine. So let's see how these do. These enemy drones are not particularly threatening. Okay. just one guy can take on a couple at a time. Maybe I'll just use him when I encounter these probes in the future. Bang. Anything good? Nope. But fuel is okay. Hyperwave ping. Okay, let's hope the fleet doesn't come after us. And I'll take all that fuel, thank you very much. I'll happily take everything else whilst I'm at it. Whatever this is, I think is a debris field, doesn't seem to be moving. There's a couple of other things around here as well. Let's see what those have. In the meantime, I'll build a sensor array just to help me out finding things. Another probe. Let's take that. More defenses. I'll skip over this combat. You've seen it happen twice now. Okay, anything good in the wreckage? Nope, not really. Another beacon. Well, let's hope we find something good in the next... Ah, it's a Starliner. Okay, anything of use from this? Not really. I was hoping for an officer or maybe some crew, but that's okay. And I saw something last at the jump point, so I think that'll make a good exit. Let's see what we find around there. Ah, another probe. There's quite a few of them in the system. I wonder if there's anything better. Maybe there's a probe platform, or we could only hope a mothership. Although I don't think I'd want to fight the mothership. That would not be a fun time. We got a planet, a mud skipper, and a probe. So let's do all of them. What's the planet got? Nothing of value. What does the probe have? Some... not much better defenses. I'll skip over this and save you guys the time. And lastly, the mud skipper. What's he got? I don't think I'd want a ship like this. It's not very good for anything. Oh well. That was a bit of a letdown. At least we got a little bit of refueling, and the way station's now been finished on the colony. So I think this has been long enough. We'll call this one the episode, and in the next one I'll head off to collect my bounty. Thank you very much everyone for watching. I hope you have a great day, and see you in the next one.